Good morning. Happy Easter. Today is one of my favorite days of the year when we get to celebrate that Jesus is alive. And so if we were here in the His Kids worship room or in one of our classrooms upstairs hearing God's word today, we would say these words first. He is risen. He is risen indeed. So I'm going to say he is risen, and then while you're at home, you say back to me, he is risen indeed. He is risen. He is risen indeed. Well, let's hear God's word today. So let's get ready. We're going to look at our Bible story today, and so I'm going to open my Bible, and our story today is from John. That's in the New Testament, John 20. So look for the big 20, and it's all the way here and here and here and here. God has given us a place to hear his word. It's in our minds, it's in our hearts, and it's in our soul. And so let's get ready to hear God's word together. Let's begin as we always do. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Let's hear God's word. Hear the word of the Lord together. So let's see. We're going to put the purple cloth out again, just as we have done all the way through Lent. So I wonder, what does this purple cloth make you think about? If you were here, you'd be shouting it out right now. You'd be shouting, it's the mystery of Jesus. It's the mystery of God, and you would be right. You would be right. So let's see where we're going. We've been in Jerusalem with Jesus. And so let's see where we're going today in God's Word. Let's get ready. So I'm going to put Jerusalem right here. And then we need to add something else. We need to add our tomb. And so here's our tomb. And a tomb is a place where they bury people after they have died. So I'm going to put a tomb, and I'm going to put a stone. We're going to close the tomb. So let's see where we are in God's Word. So it is very early. In my Bible it says, very early on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene left Jerusalem, and she went out to the tomb where Jesus had been laid after he died on the cross. So Jesus has died on the cross. His friends and his family, they're very sad. They don't understand what has happened. And Mary has gotten some things ready to take to the tomb. She's gotten some spices ready, and she's going to go to the tomb and be there to see what she needs to do. And so when she gets to the tomb, listen to what God's word says. It was still dark outside. Mary saw, though, that the large stone in front of the tomb had been rolled away. When she got there, I wonder what she was thinking. She must have been surprised. She might have been afraid. So let's see. She looks inside. Jesus isn't there. And so while she's looking inside, two of Jesus' friends come. And they see Mary at the tomb, and they see that the stone has rolled away. And listen to what it says in my Bible. They see, and so they start running. They're running toward the tomb. They're running. And this is John. John gets to the tomb, and he looks in, and he doesn't see Jesus. but he doesn't go inside. My Bible says that he stands outside. He just looks in. This is Peter. Peter ran to the tomb, and he got there, and he went inside. He didn't stop outside like John did. He went inside the tomb, and when he got to the tomb, this is what he saw. He saw two things. He saw the burial clothes that Jesus' body was wrapped in. After Jesus died on the cross, his friends took him down from the cross and they buried him. But first, what they did before they laid him in the tomb, they wrapped his body with spices and fabric. They wrapped his body to keep it safe. So when Peter got to the tomb and he ran in, he saw the cloth, the strips of cloth. My Bible says they were strips of linen. He saw the linen folded up at one side of the tomb. And then he saw another piece of linen folded up a little bit further away, because this was what was wrapped around Jesus' body, and this was what was wrapped around his head. And so he said, he's not here. Let's see what happens then. So Peter and John ran for the tomb. Peter, when he went in and saw the strips of cloth lying there, he said, "Come in, he's gone." And so John goes in and he sees that Jesus isn't there. And my Bible says that John believed that Jesus had risen from the dead. And so they left. My Bible says that they left and they went back to their home. So I'm going to put them back here. Peter and John both left. I'm going to put them right there. But Mary did not leave. So my Bible says that Mary started crying. She was so sad. She wondered, where is Jesus? Where is he? And so my Bible says that she looks in, and when she looks in the tomb, she sees something amazing. She sees two angels on the sides of the tomb. She looks in and she sees two angels. Those angels weren't there when Peter and John were there, but they were there for Mary. And they see that Mary is crying. And they say, "Woman, why are you crying?" I wrote those words down. Why are you crying? Let's see what my Bible says. Why are you crying? Jesus is not here. He is risen from the dead. She answered to them, "I don't know where he is. I don't know where he's gone. I don't know." Then she hears another voice talking to her. She hears another voice talking to her. She hears someone say, "Woman, why are you crying?" And she turns around, and look, it was Jesus, but she doesn't recognize Jesus. Mary thinks that the person talking to her is the gardener. And she says, "Sir, where have you taken Jesus? Tell me where you've put him so I can find him. Tell me where you've put him." And then listen to what happens. Jesus said to Mary, he called her name. He said, "Mary." And as soon as Jesus said her name, she recognized him. And she ran toward him and she said, "Teacher, teacher." And she reached out. My Bible says she reached out to touch him. And Jesus says, "Oh, don't hold on to me. Don't hug me. I have not yet gone up to the Father. But go tell my brothers and all of our friends. Go tell them this. I am going back to my Father and your Father. I am going back to my God and your God." So Mary, it says that Mary runs as fast as she can back to where everyone is. And she says this, I have seen the Lord. He is risen from the dead. I have seen the Lord. So let's wonder about this together. Let's think of some wonder questions. I wonder what Mary was thinking when she got to the tomb in the morning and the stone was rolled away. I wonder, what was she thinking? I wonder, what were Peter and John thinking when they heard Mary say, He's not here. Jesus is not here. Where is he? I wonder what they were thinking. My Bible says that John believed. I wonder. And then I wonder, I wonder, what was Mary thinking when she saw angels inside the tomb? I wonder. There's a lot of wonder questions about this story, but here's one of my favorites. And I think it's your favorite too. Some of you, this will be your favorite wonder question too. I wonder what Mary was thinking when she heard Jesus say her name, Mary. And remember, she didn't recognize him until he said her name, Mary. Then she knew it was Jesus. I wonder, what would you feel like if you heard Jesus say your name? Let's say these words again that we started with. He is risen. He is risen indeed. Jesus is alive. That's the good news of Easter Sunday. Jesus is alive. Jesus is alive. We have heard the word of the Lord. This is not the end of the story. Next week we'll hear another part of the story. But this is good news. This is good news. So let's look at our Praying in Color journal. So here's my journal. Let's see, how many pages are we in? 1, 2, 3. This is our fourth page. And look at what words I wrote in the middle of my journal. He is risen. He is risen indeed. And so I wonder, how would you feel if you heard Jesus call your name? I wrote that wonder question. And then I wrote some other words that this story makes me feel. This story makes me feel hope. This story makes me feel peace. This story makes me feel joy. And this story makes me know love. It makes me know God's love, and it makes me know Jesus' love. So through the week, I'm going to add the names. I think we're ready for the third graders. Each week I've been adding a new class to my journal, and I think this week it's the third graders' turn. So you can do in your journal whatever you like. But let's look at our remember verse. So here it is. Here it is. He is not here. He has risen. Luke 24:6. So let's say those words together. He is not here. He has risen. Luke 24:6. Just like God promised. Just like Jesus predicted. Jesus told everyone, the Son of Man will die, and then 3 days again he will rise. He is not here. He has risen. He has risen indeed. So one more thing as we end our time together. This is our family challenge for this week. Write a letter to someone who needs some encouragement. See if you can tell them the good news that Jesus is alive, that he is risen. And if you need help figuring out someone who needs a letter of encouragement, you can call or text or email me, and I'll help you know some people who could use a letter from someone. that is giving them encouragement. Well, I sure do miss you guys. I think this is our 4th Sunday to not be together, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. I'm going to end by how I always end when we leave the room. Love God with your whole heart this week. I love you and I miss you. See you next Sunday.